Okay, friends, we're back with episode 2 of Chicken Sunday by Patricia Polacco. At the beginning of this book, in the first episode, we met our main characters. Trisha, telling the story from her perspective. She's the I in the story. And this is Miss Eula and Trisha's best neighbor friends, Winston and Stuart. Now we're going to be finding out what happens next. So in the first episode, we find out that Miss Eula has her eye on a hat in Mr. Kadinsky's hat shop. And the kids love Miss Eula. They really want to buy her that hat. So they start saving their money. They realize they don't have enough. And they go to ask Mr. Kadinsky, could they have a job, in the shop, sweeping up to earn enough money to buy Miss Eula the hat. And there's a misunderstanding. Do you remember what the misunderstanding is? Yes, some older boys had thrown eggs at the back of Mr. Kadinsky's shop, and when he opened the door, instead of seeing the guilty subjects, he saw these kids, Trisha, Stuart, and Winston, and he thinks that they were the ones who threw the eggs. Where we left off was with Miss Eula so upset about what happened, and she told them that they were going to have to try to convince Mr. Kadinsky that they were not the ones that threw the eggs at his shop. So let's find out what happens next. Here's the picture on the next page. In my kitchen the next day, we thought and thought. How can we win him over when he thinks that we threw those eggs? Stuart asked. He doesn't even like us, Winston chirped. Eggs, I said quietly. Eggs? Stuart asked. Eggs, I screamed. I went to the kitchen drawer and took out a lump of beeswax, a candle, a small funnel with a wooden ladle, and some packets of yellow, red, and black dye. Do you know what she's going to do? With yellow, black, and red dye, a small funnel, and some beeswax. Let's find out. Mom helped me show the boys how to decorate the eggs the way that my Bubby had taught us. Bubby is Grandma. The way they do in the old country. We made designs on the eggshells with hot wax, then dyed them and finally melted the wax patterns off. We put the eggs in a basket, and even though we were afraid, we marched into Mr. Kadinsky's shop and put them on the counter. Here's a look at those eggs. Aren't they beautiful? So intricate, so many beautiful designs. And here's Mr. Kadinsky taking a look at those eggs. He raised his eyebrows and glowered at us. A glower is kind of like a glare. Still not happy. Then his eyes dropped to the basket. Spasiba, he said softly. That means thank you in Russian. Pasansky eggs, he said as he looked closely. I haven't seen these since I left my homeland. We didn't throw those eggs at your door, Mr. Kadinsky, we told him. He looked at us for a minute. Well, then you have great courage to be here. Chutzpah. You have chutzpah. That means courage, right? Then his eyes glistened and his mouth curled into a warm smile. Come, have some tea with me. I think the egg trick is working. I think that Mr. Kadinsky's perspective and point of view is changing. Oh boy, look at these beautiful hats. This is inside his shop. We spent the whole afternoon talking together, having poppy seed cake and strong tea. He told us about his life. We told him about ours. When we finally got the courage to ask about doing odd jobs to earn extra money, he apologized and told us that there was no work. We didn't tell him what we wanted to buy, what we wanted the money for. It didn't seem the right thing to do. Our hearts sank. I tell you this, he said thoughtfully, these eggs are as beautiful as my hats. Stuart, Winnie, and I looked at each other. It's almost Easter, he went on to say. I'm sure that people would love those eggs. Set up a table and sell them right here in my shop. For the next few days, oh, let me show you the picture first. Yeah, everybody in the shop coming to see the eggs. Here she is at the table. For the next few days, we worked very hard. We made almost a dozen Pysanky eggs. When people came in, they picked them up and said things like, beautiful, splendid, intricate, glorious. We sold them all in one single day. Do you think they have enough money to buy the hat? I'm gonna stop there because the rest is quite good. Yeah, Chicken Sunday. Check out the question right here attached to this video that you can answer about episode 2.